Hey everyone, GratuiTous from Beatstruggles.com, and in this video I want to give you guys some tips on improving your piano. Just how to get better at playing piano. So I just recently released piano lessons with GratuiTous Volume 3. It's all about kind of like the left hand, which is a really tricky thing to learn as you're trying to learn piano, is like your left hand. But what I want to talk about in this video is really, to get better at piano is practice. And that's probably the last thing you guys want to hear, but I just want to give you guys my insight to like my mindset as I'm practicing piano. Think of it like this. So when you make your beat, how long do you actually play the piano as you're composing that beat? Because if you think about it, like, you create your beat by playing the piano, right? You might create 5, 6, 7 instruments, let's say, all layering on top of each other. You add in your drums, your snare, all your percussion, all that stuff. But from that point on, you're pretty much done playing piano. And from there on, you're now either mixing or arranging or adding in transitions and stuff like that. So if you can see what I'm trying to say is, you really don't play your piano that much as you're making your beat. This is why that I've released that blog post a while back, and it was to do with creating drum loops, okay? So like, you create a drum loop, you make it like 3 to 5 minutes long, you export that, you put it on like your iPod or whatever, you put some earbuds in, you go on a piano, and you actually start playing to that beat. And so what this does is it actually makes you play the piano for those 5 minutes, and you're actually practicing. And that's huge, right? Because whereas when you're making the beat, you're just trying to add things on top of each other, which is, what you're wanting to learn, but you're not practicing enough. And that's what I found as I was making my beats. It's like, yeah, I can bang out beats, but I'm not creating the beats that I want to create. Really think about it, like, realistically, it's like, how often do you actually play the piano? Because when you make your beat, you're probably only playing your piano for maybe like 10 minutes maximum, and those are usually just kind of quick in-betweens. For example, you hit record, you hit play, the metronome goes, and then you start playing over top of the beat, you know what I mean? But really, you only play this kind of quickly. Again, all I do is I just export a drum loop. So I create just the drum loop, I export it, I try to export it longer. So for example, like 5 to 10 minutes, because the longer you make it, the longer you're gonna play the piano, because sometimes as you're playing, you kind of forget, so you will just keep playing until the song's done. And yes, this is actually something that I personally do, because this is something that I've also thought about. So if you're just playing the piano, like, you're not really practicing for beats. So for example, if you're training to become like a classical piano player, or if you're just upstairs and you're just learning just to play the piano, you're not really learning to create catchy loops for beats, because being an amazing classical pianist is a lot different than a producer who makes beats. Because the producer who makes beats, like, if you think about it, it's like you're just making loops, 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 loops. And the catchier you can make these loops, and the more you can make them complement each other, it's like, that's how you are becoming a better producer. Like, you don't even have to be a good piano player. You just have to know how to create good loops, right? So that's also another mindset I had to playing over top of drum loops, because if I'm just playing piano, I'm not really practicing for what I am trying to become better at. I'm trying to become a better producer, a better beat maker, right? And in order to do that, I want to play over top of a drum loop. Like, sure, it could be like a drum set loop, but like, I'm talking like a real hip hop kind of, or even like a dance loop, right? I want to play over top of those loops as I play piano, so that I keep practicing for what I want to get better at. But yeah, so there's some tips that you guys can use to help yourself, motivate yourself to play piano. Because really, ask yourself this question: how long do you really play the piano as you're making your beats? Like, you might say to yourself, yeah, I make beats all the time. But are you really practicing your keys to become a better beat maker, right? Probably not. Like, you're just hitting the keys just to make those loops, but just quickly. And in order to become very good at the piano, like, it takes years and years of practice. So check that link in the YouTube description. I have a tutorial showing you guys how to make just a little drum loop, how to export it, how to load it up onto like your MP3 player, your iPod, etc., and then how to actually play the piano over top of that loop, just to kind of get you guys started. So those are just some things I want to share with you guys. Again, it was how much do you actually practice the piano, because you might be thinking that you're playing more than what you really are. And then the tip of playing over top of drum loops, because then you can actually practice for like your real world situation, rather than practicing just piano just in general, rather than practicing for what your niche is, like what you want to get better at. So I'm GratuiTous. This is Beatstruggles.com. If you guys are not yet aware, Beatstruggles has a free production course. All you guys got to do is just go to Beatstruggles.com/free-course, and then you'll be taking on a series of emails, okay? So let me know what you guys think about these tips, if they're helpful. And one more thing, if I could ask from you guys, is please come to Beatstruggles Facebook page and like it. It'll really help to grow Beatstruggles and share out, all this content I've been giving and stuff like that. If you guys find it helpful, just come to Beatstruggles Facebook page, like it, and I'd really appreciate that. So don't forget about the free course, and I'll talk to you later.